30-year mortgage. The Trump administration is moving forward with the plan to introduce a 50-year fixed-rate mortgage, a reform officials believe could make homeownership more feasible for millions of Americans amid soaring prices and affordability concerns. Now, President Trump first floated the idea Saturday on social media, but not everyone is a fan. Critics warn
Gary.
extending mortgage rather, that long, it can essentially result in people paying far more interest and potentially trap borrowers in debt for a lifetime. Alex Jaquez is Chief of Policy and Advocacy at Groundwork Collaborative and previously served on the White House National Economic Council. Alex, thank you for joining us. Now, extending a mortgage from 30 to 50 years, it could potentially drop the monthly payment, but there are drawbacks. What are they?
That's right. So Trump is obviously trying to find an answer on affordability for housing, which right now we're seeing one of the worst housing markets that we've seen in recent times. And so the 50-year mortgage is a play to lower people's monthly mortgage payments. But the downside is, especially early on, all of that payment will be going to interest. And of course, since you're paying over 50 years and not over 30 years, you're going to be paying off that mortgage for a lot longer. So the details are still to be worked out, but it looks to be like the president's looking for a quick fix to a market that is fundamentally broken right now.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem with, well, listen, you're asking a person like me, and I'm not just going to agree just because it's Trump. I'm going to be objective like I always do. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with, but then at the same time, most of what he does I actually like. But let me reassure y'all of something before I even get into this. You getting a 50-year mortgage is a choice. You getting a 30-year mortgage is a choice. You getting a 10-year mortgage is a choice. Everything that you do is a choice. So just because they market it to you does not mean that this is what you are supposed to do. Okay? So number one, I don't like paying 30-year mortgages or any of that type of stuff anyway, because by the time that you actually pay for it, you'll more than double the amount that you paid, which most of it is front loaded with interest. So the first 10, 15 years, you're mostly paying interest. Eric D says, what about the $2,000 payments? Well, see, that's the beautiful part about it, is that most people, let me tell you something. Most people will do whatever it is that they can do in order to get into a house. They don't care. They don't care. The illusion of saying I own my home, even if it's owned by the bank, is enticing. You know how I know? Because people paying 21% interest on credit cards. Who in their right mind will pay 20 plus interest, 17% interest on credit cards? Would you think that people are going to change just because it's applicable to a home? No, they're going to justify it. They're going to justify it. You know how they're going to justify it? I'm going to get the 50, but I'm going to pay it down early. No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm going to get the 50, but I'm doing it for equity. Shit, I would be paying rent anyway. No, you're not. No, you're not. They're going to do all of this. What about and let me tell you what else they're going to do. They're going to go based off of the payment and not based off of the purchase price of the home. Because economists and accountants say that you need to focus on only allocating 30, 25, 20, 29, 27% of your income towards your payment of your mortgage. I cannot tell you how many people that I have talked to when I say, hey, listen, don't do that deal. Hey, listen, I don't do this deal. Hey, listen, don't do this deal. And they will say, but my mortgage will only be this. But my mortgage people are addicted to payments. Us as a society, we are addicted to payments. We are woefully addicted to payments because they marketed it to us and say, well, this is the only way that you can get a home. And so we don't force ourselves or our brains to ever think differently or think outside of the box. 50 years, nigga. If I was born and started making payments to my mortgage and I kept it for the whole 50 years, I wouldn't be done till I'm 50. If I got a mortgage at 20, I wouldn't be done till I'm 70. 70. Bruh, Mika is right. What up, Mika? Mika's right. I think that 30 is tough. That's a tough sell for me. That's a tough sell. Bruh, I am so adverse to payments. I hate, I hate paying property taxes. And because I got to pay it for the winter and for the summer, right? You get two different times. When I get that stack, fucking 20, 21, 22 stack of property tax payments, and I got to make them payments, I get so aggravated. So imagine what I would feel like if I had to actually pay a mortgage. And then when y'all pay y'all mortgage, because some of y'all are not responsible, they have to bake in your insurance and they bake in your property taxes. So they take an escrow. Well, what is escrow for people that may not know what escrow is? Because some of y'all just make payments and y'all don't even look at y'all statements. So escrow is them reserving money based off how much they think that your property taxes is going to be. So they break it up into payments because most people are not responsible enough to actually make the payment separately. And the mortgage company got to protect their investment because they don't want it to go to the county. So now they have to take out your insurance payment and they have to take out escrow, and that's become all a part of your mortgage payment. And if you short on escrow, then either they'll divide it up based off of your future escrow payments, or you'll have to send in an additional payment to make up for the escrow shortage. And occasionally, every once in a while, you'll get a refund check for an overpayment and you overpaid it. I can't stand making property tax payments. It aggravates me to my core. Man, I got to make a property tax payment. I got to make a property tax payment. I got to make a property tax payment. So think about that. A 50-year mortgage. Now, if this does go through, because I do think that this is going to go through, I think that eventually you're going to get a 50-year mortgage, 100%. Now, when it does go through, the thing that you really should be worried about is the flippers and the fraudsters and the people that are just banking on getting equity or holding it for a short period of time, because it's just going to be another method of financing for people to finesse through. And then you're going to see the Caesars and stuff like that saying, well, we're going to hold a conference over you being able to get a 50-year mortgage. You can do that and get a hard money loan. And this is going to help you flip this property. You're going to flip my house.
Now, besides a potentially lower monthly payment, are there any other potential advantages for homeowners?
Well, if you're refinancing, you lock in a low rate for a long period of time, like those who managed to refinance when interest rates were low during the post-COVID era. Locking in those rates for a 50-year time period can, of course, be advantageous. Of course, most people do not.
Somebody said, hey, AD, a 50-year mortgage is crazy. Nigga, a 30-year mortgage is crazy. But y'all went for it. A 30-year mortgage is crazy, bro, in my opinion. And again, part of it is just that people don't want to get what they can afford. They go and get what they think that they deserve and what they feel like their kids should have. People go and get what they feel like they deserve. And so somehow, some way they finesse us and believing that a 30-year mortgage makes sense. That sounds crazy to me. I could never think about paying something for 30 years.
Spend 30 or 50 years in their home and tend to refinance or sell after 7 to 9 years. And so there would clearly be a lot of buying and selling within that 50-year period, but it's hard to estimate exactly how this new mortgage product would impact the market right now, given.
Or they going to get y'all in there and tell y'all can refinance once you get in there.
that housing starts are so low, given that the sales turnover right now is so low, and that consumers are extremely depressed. We saw consumer sentiment numbers last week that were the second lowest recorded of all time. So families are not buying right now.
Now, the administration, they're suggesting that the 50-year plan would break the housing market gridlock and eventually even lead to cheaper housing. Is that accurate?
Nope.
It's certainly possible, but it's hard to see the impact right now. Of course, because you've got those lower housing starts, you're having fewer houses being built. And so right now, adding more mortgage buyers to the market is going to bid up prices on the inventory that exists. And housing prices are already going up, clearing about $450,000 median home price, even though people are still struggling to buy. So you could be throwing gasoline on the fire on these rising home prices.
Now,
listen, just because you create more creative financing for people to be able to get into homes does not mean that the price of homes are going down. As a matter of fact, I would argue that the price of homes actually go up. I would argue that the price of housing will actually go up because you'll have more people participating in the market. You're going to have more turnover of properties. It's not going to go down. It's going to go up. I don't believe that there's much that can happen that would actually drive housing prices down. I don't think that housing prices is ever going to go down. I think that we're going to have an affordability crisis and whether or not people can afford to buy homes. So now they're trying to figure out more creative ways for you to finance that home.